I think everybody in the administration said it at one time or another. That's why I took it, because so many people kept saying, I think I don't remember, I think I don't remember. I don't know what they think what they think they were doing.
Tell me about the new book.
The new book is a collection of articles which I wrote over the last 2 years, writing about Mr. Reagan and his last 2 years in office. Irangate came into it at the end. I hadn't planned on Irangate as being part of the book, but it turns out Irangate is a large part of the book now because so many things happened in the last 6 months before the book was published.
The way the headlines are going today, does it seem like material is just falling into your lap?
Yes. It's very easy for me. I don't have to do anything now but just read the newspapers, and I'm in business. And I like it that way. I don't want to work too hard.
I wonder, are politicians really funnier than all the rest of us?
They're only funnier because they can do things to you. Politicians and presidents and people of power can hurt you one way or another. Therefore, people like to make fun of them because it gives them some relief from all the fear they have about what they can do. And that's why I think we make fun of our politicians in this country, because we're afraid of them.
Is Ronald Reagan funny?
Yes, he's funny. He's a nice guy, been in the movies. Yes, he is funny, and nobody knows why, any more than they know why he's a good guy, or they think of him as a good guy. Ronald Reagan is very special to this country in terms of how they perceive him. And I can have people who are very pro-Reagan laughing at my material and not thinking I'm doing them any harm.
I'm curious, when you write a column about a public figure, what kind of feedback do you get? Do people call you up?
You'd like to think that everybody calls you up and gives you hell. And that isn't the way it goes at all. Sometimes you might get one call, or sometimes you might meet a guy at lunch who said, hey, the vice president's mad at you. But that's about all you get. And you'd love to have a lot more feedback than that. After all, you think you're doing the Lord's work. I'm going to say something which I've never said before in Nashville, and that is I never made Nixon's enemy list. If anybody should have made the enemies list, I thought I should.
What an oversight.
It's terrible. I've been living with it, and everywhere I go, people point to me and say, he never made the enemies list.
And they ostracize you.
They do. They're very bitter.
Does it surprise you that for a lot of Americans, your column is the first thing that they read every morning on the op-ed page?
I don't know if it surprises me or not. I'm delighted that it happens, and I don't want it to ever change. I want it to be the first thing they turn to every morning. I think what you might say is that people don't necessarily want to be hit in the head that early in the morning with something serious. So maybe they read me to kind of work their way into the serious parts of the paper.
Well, you know, it surprises me because you have such a wonderful knack for taking something that's not really funny and making everybody laugh about it.
Well, thank you. I guess that's what I do. Yeah.
Is it hard for you to turn headlines into humor day after day?
No, it's not hard at all. It's easy because you just read the papers and you say, my goodness, look what happened here. Judge Ginsburg smoked pot. That is a terrible thing. And then you just write your 600 words.
Do you ever sit down to write art and nothing funny comes out?
No, you're not allowed to do that in the newspaper business. You better be funny or they'll throw you out of the office. But you know, it's got its advantages. One is I have no bosses. Nobody tells me what to do. And secondly, it pays quite well. And third, there's not too many people doing it, so the competition is not very good.
Do you find that when people haven't met you before, they expect you to be funny?
Yeah, they do. And it's very embarrassing. That's one of the problems with having given up cigars, is I used to blow smoke in their face when they did that to me. And now I don't have a cigar, so I can't do that.
You're a pretty vocal non-smoker these days, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I want to save everybody's life. The ones who get me the maddest are young girls smoking. I think that is stupid.
Is it true that God himself is the one that told you to give up?
God did. God came down and he grabbed me by the neck and says, give up those cigars or you go. And I write about that there because I think that's probably the most important article in the book about giving up smoking.
Mm-hmm. One thing I'm curious about, now you've observed the political scene for years. Does it seem to you, Art, that the media has really changed a lot, or are politicians just more careless these days?
There's more of them, and they all got tape in their cameras, so when you say something on a courthouse square, they got it on tape, and they put it on the air that night, so the politician can't deny it. And that's the most unfair thing of all, that you can't deny something that you said. Before that, it was just the press, and they wrote in their notebooks, and it was one guy said it, he said it, and the other guy said he didn't say it, and that's the way it went. But now with television and tape, no politician is safe at all.
You have the advantage of humor on your side, but for a lot of the media, you know, when they dig with these questions, they're just going into some very personal areas. With the humor aside, how do you feel about the role of the media today?
Well, you can have 20 decent people and one rat in the newspaper business, and that rat's going to cause you all trouble, because if you don't ask the question, he is. So I think what's happened is that I think Reagan is responsible for this to a certain degree. Everybody's yelling at the President of the United States when he gets off his helicopter. And so everybody on courthouse steps are yelling at lawyers, and they're yelling at people in the streets. So I think the worst thing that happened is when Reagan started taking questions on the White House lawn with the helicopter over his head and screaming at everybody. So I think if the press kind of cooled it in terms of how much yelling they do, maybe the other side would too. But we are a nation now of voyeurs. We want to see everything that went on. We want to go on a Gary Hart yacht and see what really happened. We won't admit it, but we do.
Well, on a same note, can you tell us how Bob Woodward really got into Casey's hospital room?
My guess, and I'm just guessing now, is the CIA must have helped him.
Oh.
My defense of Bob, who's a friend, is I don't think he would have written it if it hadn't happened.
Huh. Of everyone you've satirized or spoofed over the years, who stands out to you as a favorite?
Who was my favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, I think of several. I think of Jackie. Jackie Kennedy was sort of fun, and Lyndon Johnson was fun, and it comes down to Nixon every time. Nixon was the best.
A lot of people don't see the humor in Nixon.
No, but they won't buy my book anyway.
I wonder also, what makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh? The straight stories. Not the funny stories, but the straight stories. When I see something in a book that's Jimmy Baker and Tammy Baker make me laugh. When I see them in a picture or on television, I just break up. They're so funny. They're like two little Hansel and Gretel dolls.
Who do you hope, personally, gets elected president so you'll have 4 more years of great material?
George Bush.
George Bush. Why George Bush?
Because George Bush is shooting himself in the foot every day, and I know when he becomes president, he'll increase that.
Oh, that's great. Also, you've met a lot of world figures, a lot of world leaders in your career. I know from my work in entertainment that a lot of celebrities are different in private from what they are in public. Is that true also of great leaders?
I can't claim to have met them closely. I'm sort of standing behind the ropes most of the time, so I didn't get as close to them as you would to your celebrities. But I think most people who are celebrities and world leaders, we hold in awe. So we see them as the way we want to see them. We'll see a Waldheim the way we want to see him, or we'll see a Margaret Thatcher as we want to see her. And so if they don't live up to our expectations, then we get mad at them. And a lot of times we make believe that they do live up to our expectations.
And they don't.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Art. It's been great talking with you.
Thank you.
Good luck with the book.
Thank you.